211. 211 is the number of points that were scored in this year's All-Star game by a single team. Guys, this was the craziest thing that we have ever seen. It was an explosion of offense, and there was absolutely no defense. We saw all the NBA players' skills, with Cat dropping 50, including 30 in just the fourth quarter, and honestly, it was one of the craziest games I've ever watched, and I don't know if it was really good or bad, but the All-Star game most definitely has taken a turn. Now, it used to be that roughly 240 points were scored in these games overall. Back in the 2005 NBA All-Star game, the score was exactly 240 points. AI from the Sixers was named the most valuable player. This year, the total score was over 390. 397 to be specific. This is disgusting. Basketball is no longer being basketballed, but it was still really fun to watch.
Playoffs. This is the stretch run right now that these players are looking forward to. As Towns going again. Sign him up. Sign him up for the Dogs. Your purse.
See my shooter, Pesca.
Gives them what they came for.
And Dame shooting from half court.
As well. His second half-court shot of the game.
Stop it.
Walking with me. Put your phone light in the air if you done lost a nigga.
So, to recap this game, basically, Damian Lillard went off and gave the East an early lead. The West kind of sewed it back up, but they ended up being down 20 at the end of the first half, and honestly, the East just ran away with it. Dame ended with 39 points and 11 three-point makes, which led him to be the All-Star Game MVP this year, and Halliburton had 32 points along with 10 three-point makes and 7 assists. Meanwhile, on the West side of things, it was kind of a quiet night. We were all expecting LeBron to play and be crazy, win an MVP. We were expecting Curry to play a ton and also drop like 15 threes like he did 2 years ago, but neither of that happened. It might be because they're old, but a lot of the younger players played for most of the time. In fact, the two people who played the most minutes are Karl Anthony Towns and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who combined for 81 points. Cat had 50 of them. He went absolutely off tonight, and it was mainly in the fourth quarter where he scored 31 points to kind of put the West back in it, but they just couldn't hang on to it. Meanwhile, LeBron only played 14 minutes and had 8 points of that. Curry played 26 minutes, but he wasn't too good. I mean, he had some flashy assists, but he only ended up having 16 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds, which isn't a bad stat line, but it's not good either. Meanwhile, Luka put up his jersey numbers, having 7 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds. Not good, but guys, who really cares? It's the All-Star game. Now, let's focus our attention to the defense in this game, because in this entire game, there were only, and from both teams combined, there were 17 blocks and steals. What? Only 17 blocks and steals? To put this in comparison, an average NBA game is 25. They had 8 less blocks and steals, and this is supposed to be where all the jaw-dropping moments happens, where the crazy blocks happen, but none of that happened. Both teams shot extremely efficiently, the East shooting 56% and the West shooting 55.9%. But the thing that really set the two teams apart is the three-pointers, because the East shot 97 three-point shots and made 42 of them for an insane 43.3% clip. But meanwhile, the West only shot 71 threes and sank in 25, which is 35.2%. Additionally, one thing that I did enjoy about this game that doesn't usually happen in normal games are the lack of fouls, because it was really just a clean game all around. And yes, even though that was because of lack of defense, it was still nice to see. Both teams only committed 3 fouls overall, and only 5 free throws were shot in the entire game, which just shows that this was pure basketball tonight. Meanwhile, on the East side of things, you had some crazy players because Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Maxey, and Jalen Brunson all combined for less than Damian Lillard. They combined for 37 points. Dame had 39. To go along with that 39, Tyrese Halliburton had 32. The Jays from Boston, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown combined for 56 points, and Giannis had 23 and honestly looked like a prime Shaquille O'Neal out there. It was absolutely insane to watch how good he was. And another player who's been on the come up who also played really well this game was Scotty Barnes. Now, don't get me wrong, he shot the ball absolutely horribly, shooting 7 of 10 from field, which was still below all the other players' averages. I mean, let's just put this in perspective, guys. Giannis shot 11 for 16. That is much better than 7 of 10 percentage-wise. And, I mean, even Nikola Jokic, who just goes straight to the basket every single time, shot 6 of 8, along with 1 of 1 from the three-point line, which was really impressive because, as we all know, Jokic doesn't make that many threes. But honestly, enough with the fun and games. We have to talk about how no one played any defense this year. Games used to be competitive. They used to be fun in the All-Star game, and it used to actually be worthy of watching. Now it's just offense, shooting. You make a ton of shots, you win by 30 points. That's not competitive. When you have all the best players in the league finally able to play each other on the same teams, you want a good game. You don't want this same old thing to happen again, which is why I think that the NBA needs to change this. They need to add incentive to win. Like, everyone is here with me. There's no reason for there not to be an incentive to, like, sure, you get your stupid little all-star ring, but apart from that, there's no real reason to win, and none of the pros care about the all-star ring. I mean, of course, you do have like people like Cat trying their hardest out there, dropping 50, but when LeBron James is playing 7 minutes a night, there's not much that you can do. Honestly, it just needs a full changing, and along with that, the entire NBA All-Star Weekend needs changing. I mean, the 3-point contest was all right, but the dunk contest was just boring as hell. It was atrocious. And then the skills challenge has just been a joke for the past few years. Tyrese Halliburton shot the ball with his left hand the entire time and they still won. Guys, the entire All-Star Weekend needs to change. Comment below if you agree with me and what you think needs to be changed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.